Hello, welcome back, Harry Jacobs here, and today I thought I'd just keep things very simple and show you the process of me going through drawing from start to finish. I'm still in my my illustrative kick at the moment, something I'm really exploring at the moment, something I want to add to my arsenal, so I'm just practicing a lot. And today I wanted to draw a female of some kind, because the little experience I have drawing people has been predominantly drawing men, so I thought I'd put myself out of my comfort zone even more and have a go. So here I'm just sketching out a few rough ideas. Don't really know what I want to do by this point. I'm just trying to get a character that I like the look of, just trying different poses and different faces, seeing if anything grabs me. This pose ended up being the one that I liked the most, so I ended up going with. So it's basically somebody kneeling. I could see this person kneeling on a desert surface, like an alien desert world, sifting sand through their hand, pondering something in the distance, trying to draw the face of this character here. Try and get that clear in my head before I go any further. And I really did struggle trying to make anything consistently. I'm really not practiced enough drawing faces, especially in this style. The eyes in particular I really struggled with, but it was just a matter of trying a few things, erasing it, trying again, rubbing it out, trying it again, rubbing it out, until I eventually ended up with something I was kind of happy with. Here, so I wanted to just get a final sketch in of what I wanted the final piece to look like. Put in basically the body pose that I just drawn with the face that I just drawn, put it all together into some kind of composition. And this is where I really started struggling. I just could not get this looking right. I spent a lot longer than I really should have trying to get this working, and you'll see a few times I just rev out the entire thing and start from scratch because I'm just not happy with it. And in the end, I just kind of resigned myself to the fact that this isn't something I'm going to be able to replicate easily anyway, so I might as well just go straight onto the actual piece rather than spending time sketching out something that I'm not going to be able to copy later on. So first things first, I planned on using some watercolours for this piece, so I taped down the edges of the paper with some painter's tape just to stop the paper from buckling later on when we add water to it. And just start sketching out, trying to figure out this pose. Now, in the meantime, I had used a website called justsketch.me. I will leave a link in the description, and that lets you pose a 3D model of a person, put it at any angle you want, and all that kind of stuff. And that really did help me figure out exactly what I wanted to do with the pose of this. So it went a little bit smoother. It's still a bit tricky to get right. I'm still erasing and sketching in lots of details over and over again, but I got there in the end. And for the face, Pinterest was my friend. I managed to use a couple of references on there to get a female face, which I was really struggling with beforehand. So this also went a little bit smoother this time. I think that's the lesson to be learnt, is use references. There's no reason not to. It's not cheating. It's just sensible. Especially if it's a subject that you haven't drawn a huge amount, then yeah, just use references. You don't have to copy a picture directly. Just use aspects. I just used the eyes from one person, the mouth from another. Just to get a feel for how the face should look all as one entity. And yeah, came together all right. Okay, that is the pencil sketch all done and dusted at last. So yeah, that's for me at least, that is the frustrating and slightly tedious part. And now is the fun part, inking it up. And for this I'm using a 0.05 fine liner. I'm using the finest fine liner that I have available. The theory that I have is that I can always add line weight later on, I can't take it away, so I want to start off with the finest line that I can, and then then gives me the greatest flexibility for adding line weight later on. So yeah, just going out there around the whole thing, just one simple line, adding no line weight variation at the moment, just one solid line of the same weight all the way around. and rubbing out those pencil marks is always a very satisfying step to see the bare ink left behind. So now on to the colour with a watercolour wash for the background. Just a blue sky, kind of gradiating down, make it paler as we get down to the horizon. I wanted it to be quite Earth-like in that respect. And this is going to be a desert world, so I'm going to be putting in some orange, sort of yellowy orange, I think ochre for the sand. Okay, now the background is done, I'm going to add some line weight variation onto the main figure. I don't know why I like to wait until I've done the background before doing this. I guess because if I accidentally overlap, if I cross over the lines a little bit on the background, then I've got this opportunity to kind of cover it up with a slightly heavier line on the outline. And this is by far my favourite part of this whole illustration process. It's the point at which it turns from a plain looking drawing into something that really pops and looks quite cool. I really love it. So the only hard and fast rule I really use for this is if something is in front of something else, I add a heavier line in between the two. But other than that, it's just sort of where I think it looks like it should be a thicker line. There's no there's no rhyme or reason to it other than that. It's just, yeah, I thicken up the lines wherever I feel like it kind of works. It's something I'm kind of developing as I go along. So at the moment I'm still very much in sort of the tutorial mode. I'm like, by that I mean I've been watching a load of tutorials on how to do this sort of style of drawing, and so I'm still kind of effectively copying those tutorials. But over time I'll find my own style, and so maybe this will change a bit over time. Well, that's the plan at least. And for the main figure, I decided to use a gouache. I've just recently bought some and I'm trying it out, but I mean honestly, I really can't tell the difference between gouache and watercolour so far. I was expecting it to be far more opaque than it is. Granted, I'm not using the highest quality gouache in the world, but do let me know if I'm missing something. I am, and in fairness, I am using it very much like watercolour. I'm using it heavily diluted and doing kind of soft washes with it rather than using it very particularly dry. I really did like how the blending went on this kind of spacesuit. The cool greys all blends together really nicely, and kind of reminded me a bit of alcohol markers, the finish I got on it. So that was nice. And as I'm doing this, I'm starting to build a little story in my head for this character. I highly recommend you do this, even if you're just sketching in a sketchbook or doing little doodles. Just make little stories up for your little characters that you draw. It makes it so much more interesting. So I imagine that maybe in the year 2030 we've discovered a planet relatively close by to us that we think is potentially inhabitable, very Earth-like, and so we want to go and explore it. The problem is, even with the fastest engines on spaceships, it's going to take maybe 1,000 years to get there. So what we do is we send a generation ship, that is a ship with a colony of people on to live on, and their great grandsons and granddaughters will be the ones that eventually arrive at the destination. So this is Lucy. I didn't think of a name for her. This is Lucy. She's a captain on the ship. She was born about 25 years before they were due to arrive at their destination. So she knew she would be one of the ones to first set foot. All throughout her life, she's known that she would be one of the fortunate ones that could actually see the destination and aren't just living on this ship purely to breed another generation to keep the life going and keep the families and the colony going on the ship. So the day finally arrives when they see the planet they've been aiming for the last 1,000 years. But instead of the lush green verdant paradise that they were hoping for, all they find is this dead, desolate wasteland. The entire planet is just one giant desert. No life to be seen anywhere. No signs of even water, although the atmosphere is breathable. They managed to get that right, but there is no life, there's no chance of survival there. Now, was this because the scientists simply got their calculations wrong 1,000 years ago? Maybe in the last 1,000 years the climate has changed on the planet drastically, and so any life that was there has long since perished. But all that matters now is that they are stuck on this rock. The supplies on their ship are dwindling, and they need to now find a way of surviving in this desolate wasteland. And I'm going to call that a finished painting there. So now for the most satisfying part, where you get to peel the painter's tape back off, revealing the clean white border. That is possibly the best thing about using watercolours, is revealing that the white border afterwards. So satisfying. I mean, really, it's worth it just for that. And there we are. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and also comment below if let me know how you think I did, and also leave any ideas for future videos. I really do intend on reacting to your feedback, but for now, that's all I've got time for. So until next time, cheerio.